If you want to learn a language quick, this is how you're going to do it. I'm Kalia and I have managed to learn 4 languages and counting. Have I learned all of them fluently? Not yet, but I do know enough to get around a country and shake the room a little bit. Here's how I did it. First things first, what you want to do is to take in as much of the language as possible. This will be the key to learning it fast. Read, write, listen, eat, sleep, breathe that language. Even in the very beginning, it's okay to not understand. Become accustomed to the sound of the language. When you're listening to movies or music, first listen for sounds, then listen for words, letter phrases, and sentences. Soon enough, you will start understanding the music line by line. The more exposure to the language, the better off you will be. Don't forget, knowing a language is being able to read, write, speak, and be understood to communicate in that language. Next tip is to make sure you read. Reading will give you exposure to new words that you wouldn't have found in a typical textbook. Because like English, a lot of the times, the words and phrases in the textbook a little bit outdated. And not a lot of people use those things. So find books that pique your interest so that you are going to be hip to the commonly used phrases in the commonly used lingo where the target language is spoken. Today I was just reading a kid's book in Spanish, and I'm definitely fluent in Spanish, but there's still some words that just appear sometimes, and you're like, wait, how do you say that? I was reading the kid's book, and I unintentionally learned the word cracks, grietas. These are the type of things that you learn through context, and you won't be vigorously searching for this in a textbook. And honestly, it sticks a lot better when you're reading and you're seeing visuals and things like that. And I think the best type of learning is where you learn through context and not direct translation. You've got to have fun with it, guys. And that helps so much when you find a book that's engaging and that fits what you like. Third tip, increase your listening skills by listening to music, TV shows, and movies. There's nothing more engaging than sitting back, relaxing, and watching a movie, TV show, or a song in the target language. You don't understand how much this will strengthen your listening skills because as much as you don't understand in the very beginning, your ear is starting to become accustomed to the letter sounds of the language, the words, later the phrases, and finally the sentences. And then soon enough, you're understanding so much. It may seem like a lot in the beginning, but in the end, it'll be very worth it. And if you're at the very beginning, start with TV shows and then advance to films. When you think about it, this does not even feel like studying, because studying's boring, right? No, it does not have to be. So many learners of English that I've met have had remarkable accents and remarkable grammar. And I'm like, how did you learn the English language? And they tell me they learned through watching TV shows and movies. They'd never stepped foot in the United States of America or in the United Kingdom, yet they speak perfect English. Why is that? Because they've listened, they've spoken, they've written, but they did a lot of comprehensible input. Perfected the accent through TV shows and movies. Next thing, a lot of you don't like to do this. The next thing that you can do is start writing. As much as you don't want to do it in English, start writing. Grab a journal and talk about your day. You guys don't know how impactful this can be in so many different ways. With this journal, you can reinforce reading, writing, speaking, and listening. You need to perfect the act of storytelling. Write about your day. Tell me what happened in your day from start to finish. Now, at this point in time, you may have to pull some words from the dictionary and things like that because maybe you don't know how to say everything. But in the very beginning, start with basic sentences and later grow on and become have a little more fun with it. And after you're done writing your piece of writing, you can read it aloud and that can practice with your pronunciation. After you're done writing, make sure to read it aloud. And when you read it aloud, really try to perfect that accent. Whatever accent you're trying to perfect, keep practicing and even record yourself. Because after you're done recording yourself, you're going to play it back to yourself and you're going to listen for any mistakes and you're going to listen for anything that you can correct the next time. So after you've done this, you will have practiced reading, writing, speaking, and listening. There's no way you could go wrong with writing a daily diary. And once again, practice the accent, guys. Practice the accent as much as you can. If you want to sound as much like a native speaker as possible, this is very important to continuously shadow and then go even further. If you have a native speaker that you are friends with or you have a native speaker that is your tutor or your teacher, Read your diary to them. Ask them, is this okay? Does this sound right? Is there a better way to say this? That is your direct point of contact, and you can constantly have a dialogue and go back and forth about what you've written. Oh, yeah, and just every day. And for the love of God, speak the language, people. As intimidating as it might seem, speak the language. Don't be like how I was. I was super afraid to make a mistake. I didn't want to be wrong ever. I was super afraid to make a mistake and sound like a foreigner. You learning the language in itself is something far bigger than what a lot of people are doing. Don't be afraid. There is beauty in the journey. You fall, you get back up. You make mistakes, and that's how you learn the language. You make mistakes, and that leads you to mastering the language. When I was in Turkey, I had been studying Turkish for about maybe 2 or 3 months. And you don't understand how a simple günaydın really lit up the waiter's face. Like, they were so happy that somebody actually took the time to learn their language. So you guys really don't know the impact that you are making on people just for trying to understand their world in their terms. So yeah, guys, the world's your oyster. Practice in restaurants, practice in stores, and practice with friends that speak the language that you're trying to learn. One thing I do not regret is learning languages. And with that, I have my mom and that CIA agent to thank. But the CIA agent story is a story for another day. Don't say I never told you anything. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, and if you watched this far, here are the languages I know. Arabic, English, and Turkish. I studied Spanish and Arabic in university. I lived in Spain for 2 years, so I was able to master the language while being there. While in Spain, I studied Turkish, and then I traveled to Turkey to practice the language. And I truly enjoyed learning the language from the very beginning. I fell in love with language learning on accident. I understood and conversing with others that I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. Getting to know somebody and breaking the barrier helps me realize again and again, despite where we're all from, we are all the same. Like I said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.